TG Geeks, episode 247, November 11th, 2019. Red ribbons, singing, and dancing. Hello and welcome to another webcast from tggeeks.com, where Ben and Keith, the two gay geeks, talk about all aspects of geekdom and nerdery, sci-fi, comics, film, horror, genre, and opera. You name it, we talk about it. I'm Keith Lane. We're coming to you from TG Squared Studios in lovely Phoenix, Arizona.
And I'm Ben Raggington, coming to you from Phoenix, Arizona.
And let's just get right to it.
Prepare for hyperdrive.
Meanwhile, in the Hall of Episodes, the two gay geeks are discussing this.
Well, in this episode, we are going to talk to Joseph Gaxiola, who is the president or chairman of the board, president of the board, CEO, whatever, of Joshua Tree Feeding Program. He's going to tell us about the partnership that they have with the World AIDS Day concert coming up, as well as the Grand Canyon Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence Red Dress Ball. So those two things we're going to talk to him about. Have our birthday shout-outs, our featured podcast of the week, and we got a little feedback, as always. And in our second segment, we're going to talk about something that we experienced this weekend, or just the past weekend, as you're hearing this. So, and then we have our weekly recap and our shout-outs, as usual. So we're going to get right on to talking to Joseph right now. And we welcome to the microphone, actually in our studio, Mr. Wow.
That didn't take long, did it, at all?
It just derailed all. It was the Mr. that threw me.
Oh, was that it?
You're not used to calling me Mr.
Joseph Gaxiola, who is the chairman of the board of Joshua Tree Feeding Program. And he's here to talk to us about a number of different things, primarily the AIDS concert, the World AIDS Day concert that's going to take place in December, as well as you're going to talk a little bit about Joshua Tree and the Red Dress Ball that the Arizona
Joshua
Sisters.
Tree.
Joshua Tree.
Have you noticed I can never say that correctly?
Not without
Joshua
really over-pronunciating.
Joshua Tree.
You have to think about it.
Exactly.
Or if you put an R before the U in Joshua Tree.
Joshua.
There you go.
Joshua.
Anyway,
how are you when you just say the full name?
Joshua Tree Feeding Tree.
There you go.
Feeding Program.
Yes. That's why we just go by Joshua Tree.
I am developmentally disabled, yes. Anyway, we have our tea ready. We're taking our cue from Madame Askew.
Nothing is spiked. This is proper English tea.
And it's good, too. And thank you for the tea.
Yeah. Just a little pick-me-up for the afternoon.
Correct.
So welcome back to the microphone, Joseph.
Well, thank you, guys.
You're about to call him Joshua,
I was going to call him Joshua.
Lots of people call me Joshua.
That's kind of what messed me up is I was going to say, Mr. Joshua. No, that's not right.
I have been called many things, but lately, in the last 6 years, Joshua. Yes.
Yeah.
It's but thank you guys for having here and to be in the actual studio.
Yeah, I mean we cleaned house today too.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
we
then
cleaned up some of the cat hair anyway.
Yeah, but it makes it harder for me to take some Disney stuff if it's all cleaned up.
Exactly.
I sense an ulterior motive.
He has some posterior motives. Yes.
Yes, always, especially when I come here with all the Disney memorabilia.
All the stuff that we have. Yeah. So. why don't you, for those that don't know what Joshua Tree is, if they haven't ever listened to our show before.
For shame.
For shame.
No kidding.
Yes, tell them what Joshua Tree Feeding Program is and what you do and how long you've been doing it and what your role is to do with Joshua Tree.
Well, Joshua Tree Feeding Program, what we are is a food pantry for the HIV/AIDS community here in Maricopa and Pinal County in Arizona. What we are is we're set up as a store, so our clients pick and choose what they want, so no food is wasted. I believe both of you guys have seen it.
Oh, it's
all
amazing.
Set up. Most food banks, you get a box and you're stuck with whatever it is. Here, like I said, it empowers our clients to get it. Every other week, we give out free dog and cat food as well as toiletries and vitamins as well that we pick up from some of our partner grocery stores through Feeding America.
Right. You even have somebody on staff that looks at all of the medications and
for the we have a homeopathic we have a homeopathic doctor that comes in and she makes sure that the vitamins that we get from natural grocers doesn't counteract the HIV medications. So and then make sure that they're not too far out of date.
Right. Yeah.
And then let's see. Last month in October, we celebrated 31 years of an existence.
31 years.
Yeah, we started in October of 1988.
Wow.
That's just when AIDS was really becoming the nightmare
it started 81 was.
Yeah, well, it depends on what part of the country you were.
Well, it's true.
It took mid to late 80s to hit Arizona.
Right.
You know, me being a Zoni native, I remember those days.
Oh yeah, I remember. When I lived in Oklahoma, people in 81, 82, 83, that would come through town or whatever. We're talking about different things.
And I was living in Virginia in the mid 80s, and it was then that they started talking about it there.
Oh yeah.
So that's when I became immediately aware of it. But I'm sure that if you lived in someplace like San Francisco or New York, I'm sure it was much earlier.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah. Well, Peter, who's our vice chair, he's been HIV since the early 80s when it used to be called GRID.
Right.
Now let's see. Let everyone do their history about what GRID was.
Right. It was gay-related and immunodeficiency.
Yep. Yeah, it was just for gay guys at the time.
Yeah, the gay cancer.
Yes.
That was the big thing. It was called the gay cancer.
It was called the gay cancer. That I remember. I mean, you saw it all over the news media at that point.
Which is why there's a stigma still attached to it these days. Yeah.
Exactly. So with Joshua Tree, it's a wonderful thing that you guys do. I mean, you pick up food from grocery stores, from other places, all of these different things. I mean, it's fresh fruit and vegetables and breads. Oh my gosh! All the breads that you guys have.
Oh, we have so much bread.
I'm sure you throw so much away.
No, we don't throw away. We partner with other organizations for our distribution is on Wednesdays, and we partner with other organizations for the leftovers. Oh. So nothing is wasted. We do throw out the stuff that's moldy, of course.
Right.
But the bread doesn't get thrown out.
Wow.
The leftover fruit and vegetables don't get thrown out. But we pick up 6 days a week. Like I said, we're through St. Mary's Food Bank Alliance. We are a partner. We are a program of Feeding America, and through Waste Not Want Not, which is now United Food Bank, we are partnered with Food Recovery Network. So we pick up 6 days a week.
Wow. That's
and
amazing.
Fresh food, catering. There's 2 churches I pick up from the first 2 Sundays of the month. So
wow.
We're all over the place.
Yeah, and how many clients do you every week?
Well, we're open every Wednesday. Anywhere from 80 to 100 clients every Wednesday.
Wow.
Our clients are allowed to show up every week.
Right.
So it all depends. Most of us, like myself, I am a client. I started as a client 10 years ago, and I have money at the beginning of the month because I have SNAP, I have disability, I have my money.
Right.
By the end of the month, the money is already gone to bills, and
we
food is always the last on the totem pole, so to speak.
Right.
So that's when we get around 100. But we're coming up to the time of the year that when people come out of the woodwork because we will be hosting, along with Southwest Center for HIV/AIDS, a Thanksgiving luncheon, and that's when we give out free frozen turkeys.
Oh,
and
cool.
Those are the clients we see once a year because turkeys are expensive.
Yeah. They are. Well, they can be. You know, I mean, it depends on when you buy them. You know, if you buy them the day after Thanksgiving, sometimes they're pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And Thanksgiving will be on December 3rd.
Yeah, exactly. You got to have time to thaw that dang thing out.
Oh, I know.
My gosh. Anyway, so with that, you've told us about Joshua Tree, but that is not the only thing that you do as Joshua Tree. I mean, there's lots of activities that you guys participate in and do with the community, in the community. And that kind of leads us into, what do we want to say? The World AIDS Day concert?
Correct, the World AIDS Day concert.
So tell us about that.
Well, traditionally, well, I shouldn't say traditionally, as always, this is our 5th year of co-producing it with Susan Hurley, who is now a professor of, I'm going to say it wrong, Susan. I apologize because I told you you're going to have to listen to this, but she's a professor at University of Mississippi.
Oh.
She teaches music performance. Mm-hmm. She is a opera star.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That's serious.
So this is the World AIDS Day concert is going to be on December 1st, which is World AIDS Day, at 6 p.m. at Parsons Center for Health and Wellness here in Phoenix, Arizona. It's a benefit concert for Joshua Tree, and World AIDS Day concert is actually the derivative of the AIDS Quilt Songbook concert, which started in 1987 at the Met in New York City. Wow. It's a song cycle of, now there's like almost, I think, over 300 songs.
Wow.
Of people writing stuff, the funny and the sad parts of HIV and AIDS throughout the years. I tell everybody is that, you're going to get some songs that's going to really rip your heart out.
Oh, of course. That's not to be.
Right. Yeah. But then there's going to be songs that you're just going to be laughing the whole way through. There's a song I'm hoping, hint, hint, Susan, called A Tripla. And it's just her singing the instructions and the warnings that you get every time you get a medication.
Right.
That's all the words are.
Oh. Interesting.
And it's done, the music is operatic style to folk style. It's a wide variety. And the 5 performers are all legitimate opera singers. Around the nation, and Mario comes from Mexico City, and he flies in just for this concert and flies back out.
That's great. And that's a Sunday, correct?
That is a Sunday. World AIDS Day is the Sunday of Thanksgiving this year.
Right.
And this will be it's the 6th year of the concert, but our 5th year of co-producing it with Susan. And it's just the singers, a piano player, and a cello player.
Oh, cool.
That is
wow.
And since these are legitimate opera singers, there is no amplification.
Right.
As well as I
do.
They don't need it, and that's insulting.
Exactly.
No, you put a microphone in front of an opera singer, you basically insulted them.
The only time that you put a microphone in front of an opera singer...
singing Carnegie.
If they're singing, in a stadium or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, they're taught to project.
But singing in a theater... anything of that size,
anything else.
I mean, no. It's all the body. It's very organic.
Yeah, and then this is in. I don't know. You guys have been to Parsons Center, have you not?
We have not.
No, not yet.
Not.
Well,
we will be going there this year.
Yes,
we have not been there yet.
A couple of times. Yeah,
yeah.
It's in the big room. The Parsons Center for Health and Wellness back in the day used to be the Channel 12 News.
Oh,
okay. I know where that's at.
It was their studio.
And
the big room the big box room was the actual studio itself.
Oh, okay.
So for the World AIDS Day concert, we are the Friday after Thanksgiving. We are putting up 10 AIDS quilt panels in that room. So the concert will be taking place within those panels.
That will
adds a little bit more.
They'll give some. It'll give some resonance and weight to
impact to it,
and significance to the event.
Yeah.
So who? Once again, it's a Parsons Center. What time?
It's at 6 p.m. on December 1st.
And Parsons Center. Do you have the address on that?
It is 1101 North Central Avenue, But to get to the parking lot, you have to enter from First Street.
Right.
Yeah, it's right by Central Library.
Right.
Yeah, just on the other side of Margaret T. Hance from the Burton Bar Library.
Right. And some of the performers, if you can say.
Okay, well, hold on. Let me see. I brought in a cheat sheet, and of course I can't read it. So I have to take off my glasses.
I usually have to put my glasses on. That's why I'm wearing my
glasses.
computer glasses.
Exactly. So, of course, Susan Hurley, who is the soprano. Jennifer Jones, that's the one I told you I knew when we saw Major Figaro at the Arizona Opera this past April. She's going to be the soprano as well. Then we have Ryan Glover, who is the tenor. Mario Vasquez Morales, I probably said that last name incorrectly, is the baritone. He's the one from Mexico City. And then John Pierce Kraft, who is the bass baritone.
Wow.
Those are the 5 singers.
So that's great. And tickets are?
Tickets are $20, and you could find them off of our website. I believe you guys, you sent out that press release. Thank you very much for doing that.
Yes.
It is www.jtfp.org/WAD concert .php.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget to put the PHP because if you don't put that in, it goes nowhere.
It goes nowhere, exactly.
All this computer stuff. I don't know how I do it. How you guys do that?
We muddle through it most of the time.
We
until it works.
We bluff our way through it.
Well, you guys are good bluffers.
It's called editing.
Exactly. So the World AIDS Day concert is. I can't wait for that. We've never been.
No.
It's just it sounds like a really great time. I remember the day that they released the stamp with the AIDS ribbon on it.
Oh gosh, yeah, I forgot about that.
They did that here, and I got because I was with Patrick Stout. We went down to the Central Library, or it's not Central, the Central Post Office.
Yeah,
and they gave me a copy of the stamp that was actually encased in plastic with a pin on it and everything. It's hanging around here somewhere. But they gave Patrick one and a couple of them. So that was an interesting day. That was a 95?
I remember when it happened.
I want to say 94, 95. I was living in San Diego at the time.
Yeah. I was here in Phoenix, and I remember hearing about that when that event took place.
Yeah, because
the
guy I was dating, Scott, at the time, we went and got those too.
Yeah.
We didn't get the pin.
Right.
But
you got the stamp.
We got the stamp.
Because I think Patrick was doing some special thing. They wanted to do something with the church, and they did that.
Oh, okay.
So it was a special write-up and the newspaper and all that kind of neat stuff. And so
that's cool.
They just had a couple of those.
Okay. It's not what the first 100 people.
No. So there's something else going on, too.
There's a few things going on.
Well, I mean,
yes.
Major events.
Major events.
Yes.
It's a major event.
It's a major event, yes. On Saturday, November 16th.
16th, yes.
Is this Grand Canyon Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence is doing the Red Dress Ball.
Yep. It's their third annual?
Yes. It's their third annual. They brought it back.
Right.
It started about 10 years ago, and then it kind of died, and then 3 years ago they brought it back. And Joshua Tree is one of the beneficiaries of that, us, as well as AIDS Walk Arizona, which is hosted by Aunt Rita's Foundation.
Right.
We are the two beneficiaries for that one, and that one's fun. I look forward to it every year. I even got a red dress for it.
Oh, did you?
Of
yes,
course.
I got a red dress. Yeah. She doesn't know it yet, but Terry Smith donated it to me.
Aha!
She lost some weight, and so she gave us a bunch of her dresses.
Right.
And even with her losing weight and I'm getting an old red dress from Terry, it's still too tight for me. But
well,
I'm bigger than Terry.
Oh, well.
I'm really excited. Yeah. I'm really excited about it because to see the sisters, I'm assuming they'll all be in their best red habits.
Oh my gosh. Everybody's
going to be all out. We'll probably wear our tuxedos and have some kind of nice something going on there.
I'm thinking a red shirt with a tuxedo.
We might have to.
Yeah, there has to be red in it.
Yeah.
Will that work? Would our red dress shirts work with our tuxes?
I don't know. We might have to go get some tux shirts.
Can we get a tux shirt in a red?
Probably.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do that.
And we'll only wear it once a year.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway.
Well, that's fine. You wear it once a year. So
and
Lord knows we have outfits that we wear once a year as it is.
True.
We're actually sponsoring one of the sponsors. They sought out sponsors this year.
Yes.
As they have not in the past, I don't think.
No, they never have. This is the first time.
But this time, so that they can put on a bigger production, I suppose. It's also at the Parsons Center.
Yeah, it's also at the Parsons Center for Health and Wellness.
And so I assume there's a significant outlay for rent for that facility. They're going to have a no-host bar. They're going to have all kinds of different things going on. And we're gifting a book bundle for that with over $500 worth of retail value books and a DVD. And
if some of those books that you showed me disappear, don't look at me. I want this bundle myself.
You'll have to fight with Sister Flora over that.
Oh, really? So you already told her about it?
Yep.
Oh, bummer.
Yep.
Oh, bummer.
So anyway, yeah. So that's going to be an interesting ordeal, shall we say?
It's lots of fun.
We've never been to that either.
No,
so
I'm
looking forward to that.
Yeah, yeah. It is lots and lots of fun. The sisters always host a good event.
Yeah.
I've never really associated with many of the sisters, maybe one or two of them at any length, but they come off really austere at times, and they're almost intimidating.
A lot of people get intimidated by a sister. Yes.
Well, I think it's the whole get up and they're a little more reserved, I suppose. Some of them.
Sister?
Well, I mean, some of them have been. I don't know how to say, kind of stern looking, shall we say?
Oh, that's probably the makeup.
Yeah,
there are exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I look at them sometimes and I'm reminded of the Penguin from the Blues Brothers. You know?
Yeah, well, but I've seen a lot of them really laugh and carry on, and it can be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm actually quite excited about it. Hopefully, it'll give us an opportunity to become better acquainted with them, in addition to some of the antics that might take place during the event,
as well as others in the community. Because as you know, we're huge supporters of the community. We're becoming more supportive.
Try to be more plugged in.
Yes, more plugged in than we have been in the past.
Well, yeah, and I always pimp you guys out as much as I can.
Yeah, well, and we do for Joshua Tree. Every episode we do that, and so we believe in what you're doing, and I think that it's a wonderful thing. So,
well, thank you guys.
Anything more that you want to?
One other thing that we didn't talk about before, and I didn't think about it until just like 2 seconds ago.
All right.
On December 7th, Joshua Tree is one of the committee's members of the Phoenix AIDS Candlelight Vigil.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
So that will be our 6th year doing it, and that will also be at Parsons amongst the quilts.
Okay.
We'll have people who will be speaking, as well as people who will be reading the names off of the different quilt panels that are surrounded by us. And then we'll go outside and light a candle. Cool. Because you don't want to light a candle in front of those panels. No.
Well, this is all really wonderful, and thank you for coming and sharing all of this information with us. We really support the community and what you are doing, and especially you too. I mean, you're very special to us.
Well, I adore both of you. You guys know that, and I always look forward to seeing you out and about in the community, and as well as when we go out and do things just off the record stuff.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Josh.
There it is.
There it is.
You made me snort.
Started with it and you ending with it.
Oh my! Thanks, Joseph, for being with us on the show this time.
Thank you.
Hey guys, my name's Gigi Edgley. I play Tiana on Farscape, and I'm the host of Jim Henson's Creature Shop Challenge. And you're listening to the amazing, awesome, brilliant, perfect, wonderful Two Gay Geeks. Mwah!
I always love that.
That's a lot of amazing.
That was a lot of amazingness there. You'll understand why I played that one here shortly. Well, here's a few selected birthdays for November 11th through November 17th, 2019. November 11th, Leonardo DiCaprio was in The Aviator, and he's done lots of things. I mean, he really has matured as an actor over the years.
He started off doing sitcom.
Yeah. And then Stanley Tucci, who is a very versatile actor. I mean, he's played everything. Ty Sheridan, who was in Ready Player One, as well as X-Men.
Some of the X-Men films.
A number of things, but the really anticipated one was Ready Player One, and I don't know why that film didn't do much better, but it didn't.
Because it wasn't good.
Well, okay.
He was good.
Yeah.
I mean, the entire cast was great. It's just a bad movie.
Well, they tried to condense too much down into 2
read my
hours.
review, people. It's out there. I just took a look at it again the other day for whatever reason, and I was reminded how bad that movie is.
Yeah, and Kurt Vonnegut, Dick Cavett, Kurt Vonnegut wrote Slaughterhouse-Five as one among a lot of other things.
That's one of his biggest.
Yeah, and Dick Cavett, and Abigail Adams, the wife of John Adams,
who was a formidable woman.
Oh, she was truly. And Callista Flockhart, and a good friend of ours that we met on a cruise
our favorite
many
Scotsman.
years ago, Andrew McDade. Happy birthday, Andrew. November 12th, Anne Hathaway. What can you say about Anne Hathaway? A lot of things.
A lot.
She's a great actress. And Auguste Rodin, who was a sculptor. The Thinker is his big sculpture that he did. And I think didn't they make a monster movie about him? Rodin?
Yes, they did. As a matter of fact, yeah.
It's a fact. Also, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, big women's rights activist, really instrumental in getting the 19th Amendment ratified and in place, and hopefully, ultimately, the Equal Rights Amendment. That may happen really soon.
With any luck.
Yep. Also on November 12th, Joe Stafford, popular singer in the 40s and 50s. She and her husband, Paul Weston, would throw big parties in their Hollywood home and excuse themselves and then come back downstairs as Jonathan and Darlene Edwards. Oh. She was a great singer, he was an amazing pianist. And, oh my God, the comedy duo that they did, she would sing sharp and he would fumble the keys. And it just, think Victor Borge, type esque in his playing.
Yeah, I wish I could have been at those parties.
Look up Jonathan and Darlene Edwards. You can find a bunch of stuff on YouTube that will give you a taste for that. Also on November 12th, Wallace Shawn.
Inconceivable.
It's inconceivable that he was the Grand Magus.
Quark.
And Alexander Borodin. He was a chemist in the organic synthesis arena and a composer. He did that in his spare time. He was a composer in his spare time and when he was ill. He wrote Prince Igor, and most of that music, as well as some of his string quartets, were used in the musical Kismet. November 13th, Whoopi Goldberg.
You forgot your brother.
Oh, how did I forget my brother? November 12th, Kurt Allen Lane turns 50. Oh, my God. Ain't it nifty? He's turning 50. Happy birthday, Kurt the Squirt. November 13th, Whoopi Goldberg. Anything?
Well, Guinan.
There we go. Robert Louis Stevenson, who wrote Treasure Island and The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And also Gary Marshall. What do you say about Gary Marshall?
Well, wow. How about the legacy that the man left?
Wow, exactly. A tremendous number of things. He always wound up on the screen, too, for some reason.
He was entertaining on screen.
Yeah. Also, Hermione Baddeley, who was actually in a lot of things, but most notably that I remember, she was the cook in Mary Poppins. And John Delancey.
Oh, this man's nuts.
Oh, he's crazy. He was Q.
That's right.
And also our author friend of ours, David Lee Summers, who is actually an astronomy associate at Kitbeak. Mm-hmm. And Mark Whitman, a former classmate of mine. November 14th, and I'm going to butcher this.
Yeah,
but
good luck.
I got the last name. Jawaharlal Nehru. He was a fashion icon and the first prime minister of India. And he was also the father of Indira Gandhi. Mm-hmm. Fashion icon because of the Nehru jacket. Yeah. Okay. Also, Claude Monet. Oh my gosh. If you have the opportunity to see a Monet exposition.
Oh, please go.
Please go.
They're amazing.
You see all of these little, photos and whatnot.
They don't do justice.
Of the water lilies. My God, the piece is huge. It's enormous. It's the size of a room.
When you see it with your own eyes, it will literally just take your breath away. It's fabulous.
A lot of his other stuff is incredible, too. It's just incredible. Also, Patrick Warburton.
Dork.
That's what I wrote down.
Imagine that.
The man of 1,000 voices. And Aaron Copland, an American composer who wrote a number of different things. And Russell Tovey.
He has really come a long way, and he's slowly turning into a leading man.
Yeah. And Paul McGann, the Forgotten Doctor.
The Forgotten Doctor, yeah.
Yep. Leopold Mozart.
Leopold. Wrong Leopold.
Oh, wrong Leopold. Yeah,
This is the father of Wolfgang.
Yes. And Sherwood Schwartz.
I feel like I should know that name.
Gilligan's Island. Brady
of
Bunch.
Course.
It's About Time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
And
my niece.
Our niece. Galen Hughes. Happy birthday, Galen. November 15th, Johnny Lee Miller. Elementary. He was incredible
he's
as
fantastic as Sherlock.
Yep. And Randy Savage.
Okay, so I'm guessing he's
wrestler.
Well, that's his wrestler name. He was actually oh shoot,
I didn't look that up.
I can't remember his actual name. It just went out of my head, and I'm really upset about that. But yeah, he left us too soon.
Yeah, actually, I remember exactly when we found out. We were standing in line for Star Tours at Disneyland when they reopened it. Yeah, so that was quite and it was the talk of the line while we were standing there.
Yeah.
So, also November 15th, Georgia O'Keeffe, famed lesbian painter who lived up in Taos or moved up to Taos and did some incredible work. Just really stunning pieces. Ed Asner, who was on Mary Tyler Moore.
Yeah, but we recently saw him.
Carl in Up.
Yes, but we saw him in something else very recently.
Yes, he was the doctor in Secret Garden.
That's right.
And it did a really good job, and it was a very touching film. Also, Daniel Barenboim, who is a famed pianist, and I always like to tell the story about the community concert series in the 70s. In Muskogee, the little group that was doing that bought a Busendorfer grand piano that was stored in a climate-controlled box in the Fine Arts Auditorium. And Daniel Barenboim came to christen that piano, and right in the middle of whatever piece that he was playing, he just picked this key up, flat key, and just set it up on the thing. It was like the B-flat key just broke right off. And everybody was horrified.
Yeah.
November 16th, Burgess Meredith, most notable for The Penguin.
Well, it depends on your generation. I mean,
true.
I think the people who, kids who grew up in the 60s will remember him as Penguin, but if you grew up in the 70s, you're going to remember him from the Rocky movie.
Yeah.
Especially the first three.
Oh, well, also Twilight Zone from the 50s.
Oh, my, yes, Twilight Zone from the 50s. He was quite the actor. And
Day of the Locust in the 70s.
We saw him in a Fred Astaire musical.
Oh, that's right. I can't remember which one it was.
It was a very old movie.
Oh, my gosh.
But the man sang
It was a very young man.
Who knew?
Who knew? And also, November 16th, Gigi Edgley. Now you see why I played that.
Oh, of course.
Yep. And Clu Gulager. I put this on here because there's not a whole lot on November 16th. He was born in Oklahoma. He was an actor. He most notably for Have Gun, Will Travel, and Return of the Living Dead, and many characters in TV and film. He was kind of a character actor. Born in Oklahoma, and his mother moved to Muskogee. And when I was a kid working in this restaurant, everybody always said, "Oh, there's Mrs. Gulager." You know, she always came in for Sunday brunch, and so it was kind of a neat little thing. And I didn't know who the heck he was, you know, as a kid. November 17th, Danny DeVito, RuPaul, and her Drag Race.
Yes.
And Martin Scorsese, Rock Hudson, Lori Menengay, the pod,
Mrs.
pod
Slice
mother.
of Sci-Fi. She's the pod mother. Mrs. Slice of Sci-Fi.
Mrs. Slice of Sci-Fi. Yes, and Matt Hines of Blue Ribbon Army, among other things. So, happy birthday to one and all.
Hi, I'm Michael Chan. I love to talk, I love to eat, I love to talk and eat. And lucky for me, my good friend Nightingale Nguyen loves to do all that too. That's why we started our little podcast called Talking with Our Mouths Full. Every 2 weeks, we introduce you to a new place to grab some grub in or around our great city of Toronto, which we believe has some of the best eats you could find. And while you're listening to the sensual sounds of us biting into delicious food that excites our taste buds, we chit-chat about all sorts of stuff, ranging from nerdy things like comics, video games, and movies, to more serious topics like education and online intelligence. So, why don't you come join us on Apple Podcasts, Google Music, Spotify, or wherever else you listen to podcasts. Oh, and stay hungry.
Go give a listen to our friends of Talking with Our Mouths Full.
Also known as food porn.
Yeah, food porn. Yeah, exactly.
I'm Daniel Radcliffe, and I believe that reaching out for help is the bravest thing a person can do. If you are struggling and need support, call the Trevor Lifeline at 1-866-488-7386. It's free and confidential, and trained counsellors are there to listen 24/7 without judgment. To learn more about the Trevor Project's life-saving work for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or questioning young people, go to thetrevorproject.org.
Before you launch into the feedback, I do want to say something about the Trevor Project. There's going to be on November 17th, watch our social media for the Trevor Live in LA, Trevor Live LA live stream on the streaming network Reverie on November 17th. They're going to do a live stream and raise money for the Trevor Project. So
this is the feedback section. And starting off with TG Geeks episode number 245, we got a comment from Arkle. And during that episode, we made mention of David Ogden Stiers because I believe it was his birthday for that episode.
Yep.
And he says, fun fact, David Ogden Stiers played the Martian Manhunter in an unaired live-action Justice League pilot. Fun fact, it sucks! I've seen it. It's terrible, and his portrayal of the Martian Manhunter is an embarrassment.
Dear.
I love David Ogden Stiers, but oh my god, that was like the worst thing I had seen up to that date. I've seen worse since then, but that Justice League pilot, crap. Anyway, moving on.
Justice League pilot of crap?
It was bad. It was hideously awful and totally wrong.
Okay.
Moving on, we got a comment from Megan Enlow. She says, thanks for the shout out, guys. I did not know I shared a birthday with Matt Smith. Good to know. And also during the course of the episode, we had a little conversation about us watching The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. And got a comment from Hamish Downey. He says, I can't say I'm a huge fan of The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, although it is very creative. Well, that is true.
Absolutely. It's very creative.
Very imaginative. Well, it's Terry Gilliam. What do you want?
Exactly.
He says, I watched it when it first came out on DVD. What I liked most was how all the biggest young male stars of the day came together to help finish the film so that Heath's last performance was available to the public, which is true because the poor man died during production. And then to close it all off, this is regarding A Tricky Treat, a short film by Patricia Chica. And this is we ran an article that had the short film, A Tricky Treat.
which is a wonderful
It's delightful,
little short film.
and we ran that for Halloween, and we got a comment from Patricia Chica herself. She says, "Hey everyone, happy Halloween! Thank you to my dear friends, the Two Gay Geeks," and that is our feedback for today.
You can leave a comment on anything that we publish, any of our published content. You can leave comments on our Facebook page, on Twitter, on Instagram, anywhere you find it, as well as tggeeks.com on the article and or episode, depending on what you want to comment on. We also have a listener feedback line because you're important to us and we would like for you to be famous as we are. If you leave us a voicemail, we'll play it on air, and there you go. You're shot to stardom. So you can call 469-TG-GEEKS. That is 469-844-3357. And did you hear that, Summers? You can call and you can be famous too. Our niece Summers.
That'll be part of our feedback later.
Yeah. So if you leave a voicemail or you leave comments on our episodes, etc., always remember, please play nice. Well, we got some interesting things coming up in the future, so we're practically booked out till the first of the year with interviews, etc. You can. We talked about the Red Rest Ball, and that is going to be happening at November 16th at the Parsons Center for Health and Wellness. $20 at the door. There's going to be a silent auction, and we've given a whole basket full of books. I mean, the whole Catherine Kitty Cat Alien series, and as well as a bunch of other books. Every single one of them features a gay or an LGBTQ character, some of them non-binary characters, and it's worth buying. It's over $500 worth of books right there in that book bundle. So go to azsisters.org. If you are trans or are questioning your gender identity, and if you are in crisis or are feeling isolated and need someone to talk to, or you know of someone in a similar situation, there is a special hotline just for you. The hotline is provided by translifeline.org and staffed by trained counselors who are transgender themselves. The hotline in the U.S. is 877-565-8860. In Canada, it is 877-330-6366. Or you can go to translifeline.org to learn about the important work they are doing. Please reach out for help. You are not alone.
Yeah, baby. They're like two gay geeks. They're together, you know. They're two gay guys and they're geeks. Is that okay?
Well, as Keith mentioned at the top of this episode, we experienced something over this weekend that was, I would call it mind-changing.
It was definitely it was a piece of art that left you, if you didn't leave changed.
Oh my goodness.
There's something wrong. It was Arizona Opera's production of Fellow Travelers, the piece about the Lavender Scare by Gregory Spears. He wrote the music, as well as the librettist was
you've got the program
Gregory
right there.
Pierce, and the novel, Thomas Mallon. He wrote the novel about fellow travelers. It's about the Lavender Scare in the 50s that kind of went along with the Red Scare, hosted by Joseph McCarthy, shall we say?
And what they did here is they created we call it a fictional love story because we really don't know. Maybe there really was a Hawkins and a Timothy. We don't know that.
Well,
but
at least not from the play or the opera.
Right.
So.
These are the two primary characters. But the essence, the fact that gay men and women were they're being outed and their lives were being ruined
Yep.
during the course of the Lavender Scare, that's depicted in this opera, and it's all told around these two men who fall in love with each other.
Yeah. I wrote down that it's a very touching story of a fearful time in our history on many levels, but more especially for the LGBTQ community.
It was.
It really was a very touching and tender story, and it was the story treated the intimacy and love that these two men had.
Very respectful.
Very respectful. Although I would say that the love story is somewhat lopsided. It's more of from Timothy's perspective.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Obviously, just because of the nature of Hawkins' character, and without saying too much about it, there's so much that you could say and give away the whole story, but I don't want to do that.
It's hard to say because Hawkins, when we first meet him, he's this type of character. He meets Timothy. He's changed throughout the course, and he becomes a different man by the time it's all over. And yet still there's... It's just gut-wrenching what both of these men have to go through.
Yeah.
And what helps is that this opera is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. It's really... what was it? Opera News, I think. I said, when I looked it up on Wikipedia, said almost exactly what you had said last night.
Last night, we were talking to somebody who works for Arizona Opera, and I mentioned this to you too at one point. I said, this is like Philip Glass, the king of minimalism, meets Puccini, who's arguably one of the most lyrical opera composers of our time.
Yeah. And the guy in Opera News wrote, he wrote some minimalist soundscapes with a neo-Puccinian lyricism.
Right.
And it's like,
I thought, oh my God, well, that's basically what I said.
Yeah. It really is. It's very lyrical for 20th or 21st century opera.
Yeah. Because it premiered in 2016, so this is a 21st century work.
It certainly is. It's very different. It's not, what you would call that, what we have often said that we don't like in 21st century or 20th century opera.
Yeah, most modern operas have a rather unmelodic quality to them.
And this is not it. Yeah, and they normally do what is referred to as sung through, meaning that they just sing through the dialogue instead
it's like someone writes out a script and writes all this dialogue and then just applies a melody on top of it without any kind of editing.
Yeah, and this followed the method of the classical composers in repeating lines and others shadow repeating those lines and the chorus repeating those lines, and it gives it more of a lyrical quality, as well as the music underneath is more like a film score, and then when you get to the singing pieces, it's a great accompaniment. Although there is some, discordant pieces, but it's to
there
give
are moments here and there.
Yeah, it gives the piece its character.
Something that I read in the program last night is that it also kind of whoever wrote this analysis said that it has a ballet quality to it because there are moments that are like a musical pas de deux. Going, as there's this dialogue, well, not dialogue, but there's this point counterpoint that is taking place musically. You'd have one character who is primarily on the stage. He is now expressing his feelings, his ideas, his thoughts to the audience, or maybe to another character on stage, face to face. And then off to the side of the stage is like, say, the love interest, and he's now doing his own thing. I wouldn't call it Greek chorus because it's not. It really is just, it's something completely new, and at the same time, so, oh man, the words just escaped me at this point. I'm really sorry, people, but it was an amazing piece of work that literally by the time it was over, I was sobbing my eyes out.
It's very heart-wrenching. It left us both in tears, so...
and I couldn't stop crying.
Yeah, and just a brief synopsis. It's about two men that meet, and it's 16 scenes, and the way the scenes are carried out, sometimes there's actually two different components on the stage. One may be the apartment of one individual and one maybe the office of another individual, and one sings and then they go to visit the office of the individual, and they kind of segue into that. And sometimes it's a singular place on stage, but there is a Greek chorus. It's the chorus that also functions as the stagehands as they artfully roll the scene pieces and the set pieces on and off the stage, and sometimes while singing.
It gives it a flow that is really unusual.
It was just an incredible production in itself.
I'm toying with
about the Lavender Scare.
Yeah, I'm toying with writing a review. In fact, I think I will. It's not going to. It will probably publish maybe around the same time as this episode, or maybe the day after. But it will definitely come out ahead of time before, because this opera's going to Tucson.
Right.
After it's finishing its run in Phoenix, it'll be playing in Tucson for next weekend. So the review for this, should I find the strength to write it, because this was a truly gut-wrenching work, would come out sometime this coming week.
Yeah. So if you've missed it in Phoenix this last weekend, please, and you're interested in it, please try to make a trip down to Tucson. It's Saturday evening and Sunday matinee performances at the Tucson Temple of Music.
Temple of Music, that's it. Yeah.
And I think that there are still seats available. Please do try to catch that, because the two young men that are singing are absolutely incredible. Joseph Latanzi was part of the Marion Roos Pullen studio artist program here at Arizona Opera, and he sang, and now he's come back and is singing this role, and the maturity that he has experienced from then until now is incredible.
And Joseph,
not only in his voice, but attitude and
everything.
acting and everything. And Jonas is just...
Jonas as Timothy is incredible.
Is stunning.
And I would say that Joseph originated the part. He created this role for the stage as the singer. And every time this opera gets performed, they call him in to sing the part of Hawkins. And so I would say to anybody, if this opera comes to your part of the world, I don't care where you live, if you're lucky enough and it comes to your part, go see it. It will change you.
And with that, we want to say that we are huge supporters of independent creators, whether it's filmmakers, comic book artists, writers, or others. If you have the opportunity to see any independent creators, buy their stuff, talk to them, talk to other people about them, buy their stuff, and please consider supporting independent creators. The Joshua Tree Feeding Program, as we heard about earlier, is a 501c3 nonprofit food pantry. The clients come in and they set it up as a store so that they can choose what they want. They are an all-volunteer organization. Please consider supporting Joshua Tree either through a single gift or a monthly recurring gift. You can go to jtfp.org. And now here's our weekly recap.
Starting with Sunday, November 3rd, Dr. Zombie Monster Family Physician number 73.
Wow. Closing in on 75.
No kidding. On Monday, November 4th, TG Geeks episode number 246. On November 5th, remember the 5th of November, Ben's Breakdown, annual favorite V for Vendetta is a November triumph. On Wednesday, November 6th, Ernie and Joe, Crisis Cops, debuts November 19th exclusively on HBO. On Thursday the 7th, new series We're Here to debut on HBO next spring.
It looks fascinating.
Think, how did Hamish put it? Think To Wong Fu, the reality series.
Yeah,
then speaking of Hamish Downey, Friday, November 8th, new sushi number 87, Morsels of News from Japan and Beyond. Also, we have a movie review, Andrea's Angle. Last Christmas is a Story with Heart. And then Saturday, November 9th, Arizona Opera announces vibrant, multifaceted 2020-2021 season, as well as Arizona Opera announces 2020-2021 Marion Roos Pullen studio artists. And that's what we had for this last week.
You can find all of these at tggeeks.com, as well as our entries on our Facebook page and Twitter and Instagram. Please visit and comment.
Have to give a couple of thanks. First to the Arkle Times Post-Dispatch News for republishing our content from time to time, and then it's put out by the Human Arkle. Arkle, you heard from him a little bit earlier. You can find him on Twitter by searching at Arkle, A-R-K-L-E. And he also has the Shameless Cash Grab, which just wrapped Season 3. You can find that by going to YouTube, youtube.com/Arkle Studios. And yes, he has wrapped up everything for the third season.
All 20 movies. He said he would never do that again.
Yeah. Famous last words.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Also, we have to give some shout outs to a couple of Facebook groups for allowing us to post our episodes and relevant articles on their pages. First, to Gay Geeks After Hours. When I asked if we could share, they said, yes, please share away. And we do. Their URL is facebook.com/group/Gay Geeks After Hours. And also to The Gay Geek for allowing us to share our lovely stuff on their page. And their URL is facebook.com/group/The Gay Geek. That's all one word. And we must give special thanks to their moderator, Jeremiah Reeves.
Thank you, Jeremiah. And lastly, we are found on Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, as well as where other fine podcasts can be found. Also, check us out on Krypton Radio at 3 a.m. and 3 p.m. Pacific Time on Tuesdays, and listen to their other content. They are a 24-hour geeky internet radio station who has just added the Rob Paulson podcast show.
Love Rob Paulson.
Yeah, you heard his little intro as Pinky in the Pinky last week. And please rate us and review us on iTunes. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Okay, that should do it for this episode of TG Geeks Webcast. Be sure to check out the article on the webcast. For this webcast episode, we're going to have several links on that page of things that we talked about. And remember, you can comment on our Facebook page or our website, tggeeks.com. Or you can leave us a voicemail at 469-TG-GEEKS. That is 469-844-3357. From TG Squared Studios, I'm Keith Lane. Thanks for listening. Please be kind to those around you and to yourself. Peace.
Cheers.